Hey guys, it's Nicole Eaton with the Rock Your Soul book and podcast, where we talk about how to hack your mindset, grow your intuition, and live your best life. You can support this podcast by subscribing, leaving a positive review, and screenshot and sharing on social media. The following is an excerpt from Nicole's recent live video on her Rock Your Soul Facebook group. To join in on the fun, type in facebook.com/groups/rockyoursoulclarity.
The question was, when you feel like your job has reached its peak and you need to move on, how do you know which way to go? This is the best question. This is so important. And it's so important because we have these preconceived notions that everything is forever. And I don't really know where this came from because we don't really even work like that, but we have these like you get married forever, you have your job and your career, and you just move your way up and you end there and you retire there. So there's all of these societal notions that we have to stick to something. But that's not how our soul works. Our soul has all of this growth and flexibility, and it needs new experiences to grow in its fullest extent. So let's just take it back to that question in general. If you aren't sure if it's time to move on, the fact that you're asking the question, is it time to move on, tells me everything. You have a knowing inside of you, a deep knowing. Your soul always knows which way to go. It's the part of ourselves that gets afraid, or we get too far in our head of logic of how is that even going to happen for me, and then we get stuck. So our stuckness doesn't come from not knowing. It comes from not inviting the next step. So if you're in a position, I always find a couple things. If you're in a position, if it's a relationship, if it's a job, if it's just a situation or a location, two things are going to happen. Either your intuition will keep nudging you over and over again. So you're going to get intuitive hit after intuitive hit after intuitive hit of things that are guiding you in a different direction, right? Of, ooh, wouldn't it be nice to live somewhere else? Or wouldn't it be nice to work in this kind of career? Or, oh, I wish I had this flexibility. Or wouldn't it be nice to have somebody who treats me this way? So your intuition is constantly nudging you through ideas or through other people so that you can move onto the right track. So again, when I say you already know it's time to go, you do. Timing is sometimes different because our logic gets in the way of our timing. But the other thing that you'll notice is that if it's time to move on, everything's going to start to feel uncomfortable. And what I mean by that is I always think of when I was working at a mental health agency. I loved it. I loved the people. Everything was really awesome. And then it started to not be. And then it started to be dread pulling into the parking lot. And it started to be just things changing out that shouldn't be changing out. So there was all of this shifting that was making it uncomfortable. It was making it not a great place to work. It was just had this impact on me where I was about crying pulling into the parking lot. So if things are shifting around you, or you're in this job and all of a sudden it just feels like it's uncomfortable, come back to the feeling of it. How does it feel in your body? Where does it sit in your body when you think about it? Do you get that dread? Does it feel like, oh, this isn't right? Your body is literally always speaking to you intuitively. It's always guiding you, and it's always trying to show you the next step. And I think that's really where we get stuck, because sometimes we know, I'm not supposed to be here, but I'm not seeing a next step. And what I'll encourage you to do is invite that in. So you can invite that in. Universe, show me the next right thing. Show me what I'm supposed to be doing. You can manifest your way, or you can invite the universe into your space to help you out. The other thing you can do is double check your alignment, right? So get really, really clear about what it is you do want, or at least use what's not working in this current position as guidance to what you know you do or don't like. So maybe it's, I don't like working at home, or I do. Maybe it's, I don't like having somebody micromanage me. Maybe it's, I like having someone micromanage me. So using these things that aren't working, the oppositions we talked about yesterday, to help guide you to where you need to be and where you need to go. So that's going to help shape things a little bit, mentally, because when things are showing up that aren't what you asked for, it's going to be very clear, okay, this isn't in alignment with me anymore. And I think when we know our truth so well that anything presenting outside of that is just not in our alignment, that it gets us to a place of confidence in our decision making, right? So if I feel confident in my decision making, then I can get into a place where this stuff is presenting and I don't like it anymore and it's not working for me, and I know for sure it's not working for me. I don't even have a question of if this is right anymore, because I'm so clear about what I want and how I want it and what that might look like that I can't deviate from it. So your job is to get so clear within your alignment. So what does that look like? What does it feel like? And if you don't know anything else, how do you want to feel when you're at work? How do you want to feel in this relationship? How do you want to feel doing whatever you're doing? Invite that in, and then invite it to be easy. I think sometimes we build process up in our heads of how it has to go, and that it has to be a challenge, and it has to be a fight, and it has to be a struggle. What if we just let it be easy? What if we just open to the idea that it could be easy? What if we gave ourselves permission to invite the universe in to help shift things in our favor, releasing the unknowns and just letting the universe work it out? And I know that's hard because we like to control things and have this sense that, we need to work things out and we need to do it. But sometimes if you're really clear about who you are, and if you're really clear about what you want, the universe just kind of shifts it for you. The other thing I would say is that if you're in a position that you just absolutely hate, I would be really, really mindful to put more energy and time into building a mental construct of what you want rather than fighting what you don't like about this job. If you're putting a ton of energy into how much you hate this job, how much this contrast is just wrecking your vibe, how just miserable you are, if you're putting a ton of energy into the old shitty thing, it's going to be a lot harder and a lot more contrast to attract the new, better thing. So choose wisely where your focus goes, realign your focus by realigning what you want, and then follow those intuitive nudges to get to the next step. So sometimes I'll even go as far as saying, you know what, I'm ready, universe. Like, show me the next step. Show it, make it clear. Make it so clear that I can't possibly pass it over. A lot of times when it comes to making a massive leap of faith or making a jump to something that feels right to you, that's scary. But if you can get to a belief within yourself that it's correct for you, if you can feel like, okay, I feel good about this. This feels so right. And maybe identifying, okay, so is it my lack of belief or trust in the universe? Is it my lack of belief in myself? Or is it just fear? Am I just afraid of what's going to happen? Or am I afraid to make the wrong step? Someone once explained the universe like a GPS, right? And manifestation like a GPS. So when you plug in your final destination, like let's say you want this better job, okay? And like let's say you're going to Disney World and you put it in your GPS to Disney World, and you stop off to get like Taco Bell, it's gonna reroute you back on the track and back on the right road to get back to Disney. It doesn't mean that if you're taking a misstep or you're taking a detour, there's no wrong steps as long as you're coming back to listening to yourself. There's no wrong steps. I love that Todd just put vision boards. Yes, vision boards and manifesting. Get clear within yourself about what you want. Get clear about within yourself about what you envision for yourself. And again, more importantly than any of it, how do you want to feel when you're doing it? How do you want to feel once you're there? What does that feeling feel like? Who are you in the process? That's going to be huge to manifest your desires. So this is a whole process of knowing, understanding and trusting your intuition, and maybe that's the bigger piece, right? And the important thing I'll say about intuition is that a lot of times when we start using intuition, we're like, oh, I need to make this big jump. I need to make this big leap. And then what we do is we stop listening to our intuition, okay? So we make the big jump and then we go back to logic and then it doesn't work. And we're like, what the hell? Why isn't this working? But the thing is that once you start an intuitive route, you can't abandon your soul and go for like what you think you know should be true or right about the situation. You have to kind of stick with it. So learning your intuition, learning to listen to your intuition. How does your intuition speak to you? What does that look like? What does that feel like? And then you can go from there. But I highly doubt that you, for the people asking that question, I highly doubt you don't know. It's just allowing the timing, allowing the right next thing, allowing yourself to be nudged. This morning, one of my sessions, I was referring to it as like, you know, when a dog has puppies and they're trying to like kind of wander around and the mom's just nudging them back into the, you know, their nice little nest. Like the universe will nudge you and you'll hear it, and it'll be sometimes quiet and sometimes it will be prominent. But if you listen to it, or even if you just write it down, even if you're like, I'm too scared to do that, I don't feel comfortable doing that, just write it down, because that's still a way of saying, universe, I'm listening, I'm ready, show me more, be louder, be more clear, and you can, again, be a little bossy with the universe, and that's okay. So if it's time to move forward, invite the strength to move forward, invite the knowing to move forward, write it down, get clear within yourself, because that's going to just shape and change everything. But I hope this is helpful, and I hope that you guys continue to ask me questions, because this was fun. I love you guys. I hope you're moving forward with your March, and I hope you're moving on. I know you know when it's time, and I know you're going to follow your intuition every step of the way.
Thank you so much for listening to the Rock Your Soul book and podcast. Take a moment to book a one-on-one session with me or purchase my trainings at NicoleEaton.com. Join the Rock Your Soul Facebook group or follow me on Instagram at NicoleEaton.xo. And if you loved this podcast, don't forget to share it. Thank you.